Hello guys, this is NASCAR Racing Fan 2015 back with another NASCAR review. And this one, last week I did Ryan Blaney going to the 12 car. And the reason why I didn't include Paul Menard of the 21 was because I felt like it deserved its own video, because I have to talk about what's going to happen with RCR, who their possible third driver could be, as right now it sounds like they're going to keep the third car. And that's what today's video is on, is it's on Paul Menard going to the 21. So Paul Menard, he's just been there like his whole career. He's been the driver. He's one of the 5 or 10 drivers that career is literally still going because he got one career win. He had one time where he lucked out and he's still here. Like we have, David Reagan, he had one win, but then he got a second, so he's deserving, but he would have been on that list. Let's see who else. We have Regan Smith at that time, Casey Mears. He was living off of his 600 win for years. Like, people were saying how good he was when he won just one single race and he jumped from team to team. Let's see, who else did we have? We have now like AJ Allmendinger. I mean, he still has some time to prove himself. We had Eric Almirola who had that. I'm trying to think. There's a couple other people that were living off of one win. Oh yeah, Trevor Bayne. Yeah, we had Trevor Bayne. He's still here. Marcus Ambrose, like he had the one road course win in 2011, and he didn't do much until he finally left. I mean, I'll admit he wasn't awful, but he wasn't that good either. We had David Rudiman for the longest time, or like David Rudiman, you could say, but then he got his second win at Chicagoland. But realistically, like I said, you take away that rain-shortened race, wouldn't have mattered. And there's a lot of, there's the list, there's probably a couple other drivers I missed that have just that one win. They have one win, and now all of a sudden their career is going to be saved. So this is exactly Paul Menard. And like I said, started out at DEI, sucked, he failed to qualify a lot, and we had same with 2008, he didn't do that well. And then 2009, whenever Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, remember they merged with Chip Ganassi Racing. That's when they started going downhill, and they became the 1 and the 42. Paul Menard and the 15 team were axed, and then after that, he went to Richard Petty's team, as this was when I think they were still Dodge and with Ray Evernham, I think. So they were with Dodge, and so they end up in a 4-car thing with Reed Sorensen and then Casey Kane, and it wasn't that good of an operation. And then Elliott Sadler. 2010, Reed Sorensen's replaced by AJ Allmendinger, and he doesn't do that much. Both seasons, he didn't do that well. So he eventually went to RCR, and this was his breakout thing, as he's going to a team. Paul Menard is going to a team that has lots of experience. They have Kevin Harvick, they have Jeff Burton, Clint Bowyer. All three made the chase in 2010. And in 2011, Paul Menard gets his first career win at the Brickyard 400. Holds off Jeff Gordon. And to this day, that is his only career win. But 2011 was a good season. He would have made the chase had we had there been, this playoff format, but sadly there wasn't. So Paul Menard didn't make it. I think Keselowski was one of the wild cards. I think Hamlin was the other one. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. But it was a long time ago. But so we had that, and then in 2012, 2013, 2014, all forgettable years at RCR. He just wasn't that good. 2014, I remember he did awful. He crashed a lot. And then we have 2015, and this is a surprising year for Paul Menard. He's really consistent. He's about a 15th place car, and that consistency pays off as, what do you know, he makes the chase. Paul Menard, 2015, I'll admit, it was a weak year. I mean, we had only 11 winners. We have more winners at this point of the season now than we had the whole 2015. We only had, I think, 12 winners. We had 11 to start the chase, and then Jeff Gordon won a race. So yeah, we had 12 winners the entire season. And in 2017, we already have 14 winners, and we're not even, we still have 15 races left. We could see like 18 winners. So after that, yeah, Paul Menard makes it, and the only other people we really expected to make it into the chase were like Kyle Larson. I thought he was going to make it. I thought he was going to break out and win, but that didn't happen until the year after. I thought, Austin Dillon would improve. I thought that Casey Kane, Greg Biffle, but surprisingly, Paul Menard and Quint Boyer, of all people, got in. Quint Boyer, he was good, but, the MWR, man, they were awful. They just were there. If you look at it, if you were to put Quint Boyer and Paul Menard in this season's playoff picture, they would be at least minus 100 out. It's kind of like where Eric Jones and Suarez are at. I feel like that's where they'd be, or like where Logano is, where they're way out of the cutoff. So we get to the chase. Paul Menard, not surprisingly, gets eliminated in the round of 16. But hey, there's two things to get at this. First, he made the chase. Second, he can say he got eliminated in the same round as Jimmy Johnson. He'll always have that to go by. So in 2016, everyone expects him to maybe kick it up a notch, maybe do a little bit better. We have like Jeff Gordon retiring, and we have a lot of teams like MWR folds, and it's looking like he's going to have a good year. Nope. No way does that happen. Paul Menard has a terrible year. Austin Dillon, however, makes the chase. Ryan Newman would have made it until he gets robbed by them letting Chris Buescher make it in. Come on. I'm still mad that Chris Buescher made it, and I wouldn't be surprised if somehow he wins a race. He'll just be the guy on luck. Chris Buescher's a good driver, but with all these teams, it's hard to like him whenever he lucks out so much. But yeah, 2016 does awful. He wasn't even in the picture. He was way out of it. By June or July, he was in the must-win category. And then in 2017, it's the same thing. He is already in the must-win category, and he's way far out. He has no chance of making it unless he wins, unless he can get a lucky win. And probably, we'll see, maybe if he can get a lucky win, he'll rob like Matt Kenseth, Jamie McMurray, or Chase Elliott out of a playoff spot. And then he'll waste more oxygen someone else could easily live off of. That's just like I said, and I'm getting off topic, but I hate the win and you're in. Paul Menard could very well do that at any point in the season. Allmendinger could do that this weekend. Any driver could do it and waste oxygen, a guy that could be perfectly breathing, but instead like a dying team like with Casey Kane and Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon has future, but he's not consistent this year. And a couple other teams, they're just breathing oxygen someone else could be breathing, and they're not even going to make it very far. That could happen with, that could happen with Paul Menard. That's all I'm going to say. I might do a video on that eventually. Like especially this season, the whole win and you're in thing has gotten to a point where it's ridiculous. I already know the round. I know pretty much who's going to get eliminated in the round of 16 already, unless we get another underdog winner to shake it all up. And then if we get like a guy like Paul Menard, I immediately, all four drivers, I have four drivers that are out. Right now, it's just insane. But I'm getting on topic, guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting on topic. So, Paul Menard, So obviously Ryan Blaney goes to the 12, and now Paul Menard is going to the Wood Brothers in the 21. So what do I think about this? I am literally 50-50 on this. So at the same time, I'm happy for Menards. Menards, they're a good company. Menards is a good company, and they have done a lot for me. Obviously, they built one in Shiloh, Illinois a while back, and I got to see Paul Menard. You know, he was just, I'm there. And I got an autograph. I got to see the Brickyard 400 winning car. And that's this like hauler was parked outside. It was a cool experience. It was like the first time that happened. Because in that year, and then we had Austin Dillon and his Advocare car. I saw that. And then this year I saw Chase Elliott and his Hooters cars. I've only seen like 3 show cars that came to my area. And it was a pleasure to see it. So yeah, so I like Menards, but with Paul Menard, I feel like Paul Menard's one of the been there, done that guys. I mean, he's made the chase. He won the Brickyard 400. There's not really much left for Paul Menard, and he's easily just an average driver. I mean, he's consistent, and then there's bad luck thrown in. I mean, I just don't think he's ever been that good. But you want to know why Paul Menard can get these types of rides? You know why Wood Brothers would pick Paul Menard? Money. I mean, obviously. I mean, the money. I mean, Menard's probably put up a big offer on that car. I mean, there's no doubt if Paul Menard was unsponsored, if he didn't have much sponsorship, I guarantee you he'd be out of the sport by now. He wouldn't have even made it in to NASCAR. That's just the reality is that Paul Menard wouldn't be in the position he's in without Menard's sponsorship. And the way they can just jump around from car to car is kind of annoying. Same with Brian Scott. I mean, he could just jump to any car he wanted, regardless of how bad he did it, regardless of how many cars he tore up. He could jump from car to car. He got that car at Richard Petty Motorsports. I'm surprised he didn't get a step up, like he didn't go to RCR or he didn't go to any other big team because he has the money. That's the one thing I don't really like about NASCAR. I mean, I'm fine if it's like, you know how we've seen, like with like how Target started Kyle Larson, like they pit back to Kyle Larson and they moved up with him. We saw Dow and Austin Dillon move up. We saw Danica Patrick and GoDaddy, like Chase Elliott and Napa. We had Daniel Suarez and Eris. I mean, I'm fine with that. Like a company sticks to one driver, like they do that. But just the way how I'm fine with them jumping from that. But it just seems like they go to one team and then that's it. Like the company gets them and supports them in the Xfinity Series, they move up. That's what happened with Paul Menard, but now it's eventually flipped. Now it's where Paul Menard, regardless, he can get any ride. And it's kind of annoying. I mean, there's plenty of other drivers Wood Brothers could have went for that has much more potential. I'm actually surprised Paul Menard didn't go to Penske because honestly, they have the relationship with the IndyCar team, and I mean, Ryan Blaney doesn't have any sponsorship. I mean, now Motorcraft and Menards are in a kind of share relationship instead of Menards having the full sponsorship at the 12 and Motorcraft the full sponsorship at the 21. But I feel like over time we'll get sponsorship for Ryan Blaney, and I'm sure they do have something, but we'll see. So anyways, just like I said, I'm just not a big fan. I don't know. I'm just 50-50 about Paul Menard. He is the Casey Mears of this decade. Last decade was Casey Mears jumping to teams. This decade it extends back to 2007. This is the Casey Mears of this decade because this is his 4th team. You could also say Kurt Busch, but Kurt Busch was a proven champion and he had a bunch of different sponsors. Like anyone would pick just Kurt Busch. If they saw Kurt Busch was on the market, they'd pick him. In this instance, it's Menard's sponsorship. It's not Paul Menard. It's not his driving ability. It's not anything related to Paul Menard himself. It's the Menard sponsorship. That's why this is happening, is they see, a full season sponsorship. Wow, I'm picking this up. And that's immediately what happens. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing full race sponsorships. I like seeing all these big sponsorships. I mean, it's better than seeing like an underfunded car or like car without sponsorship. I applaud Menards for that, but I just kind of wish, either stick with one team or find another driver. Just do something different. I'm tired of this just being the Paul Menard, jump to whatever car you want. And this is going to happen even more, because guess what? We're probably going to have an instance at Roush Fenway Racing where this is going to happen, because right now we have Chris Buescher, who has basically been promised a Roush ride, which that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Chris Buescher getting promised a Roush Fenway ride. A guy with no sponsorship and whatsoever gets promised this ride. And then you have Ryan Reed and Lily Diabetes, without a doubt, like Roush Fenway Racing saying, oh no, that's not going to happen. But I guarantee you, one of these years, Lily Diabetes is going to get sick of running the Xfinity Series. 2018 is going to be Ryan Reed's 4th year in the Xfinity Series. I think he also did some of 2014, so technically like 4.5. Eventually, Lily Diabetes is going to say, here, we're going to put up all this money to get Ryan Reed a full-time Cup ride. Are you going to take it, or are you going to just let us walk? There is no way, I'm telling you now, there's no way Roush Fenway is going to laugh Ryan Reed out of the building and say, go away. No one needs Lily Diabetes, or no one needs Ryan Reed. No, that's not going to happen. Roush is immediately just going to grab the money off the table, and they're going to immediately get Ryan Reed in that Cup car. I'm telling you this right now. It is going to happen. Probably not in 2018, but by 2019, I think Ryan Reed will be in a third Roush car. Or Trevor Bayne leaves, or Ricky Stenhouse leaves. We'll have to see. But I guarantee you, Ryan Reed will be in a third Roush car. It's just a guarantee. So yeah, and then Ryan Reed, he might be the driver that jumps from team to team. Like, we'll see endless opportunities for him because he has Lily Diabetes. And there's going to be many other drivers like this that can just carry that. And I kind of hate it. I kind of wish we had like the driver-sponsor relationship where they're focused on winning, not just because of Ryan Reed. I respect Ryan Reed for driving through all of his diabetes, but it's just kind of annoying. His story is whenever he gets up to Cup, NBC is going to play his story to death, because they always got to introduce to the casual fan, the fan that knows nothing. His story is probably going to be on every single NBC broadcast whenever he gets up to the Cup Series. Eric Almirola's recovery story, that's kind of been over. I'm sure that's been overplayed to death. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it will. And that's what I hate is, and then like I said, with Paul Menards, it's exactly like that. So now I'm going to go. What's going to happen to RCR in the 2017? So. There's already been announced, I think it was announced on one of the practice sessions last weekend, that Ty Dillon will not go to the third RCR car. Why? Sponsorship. It's a no-brainer. Ty Dillon did a terrible job, and that whole team did a terrible job of bringing up sponsorship with that car. Ty Dillon had so much potential whenever he got to the Cup Series, or the Xfinity Series. He didn't do bad, he didn't do awful in the Truck Series, but he didn't get a win. In the Xfinity Series, let's see, he ran over 100 races. 1 win. 1. That is not good. Ryan Reed has more wins than Ty Dillon. He lucked out twice, and realistically, his 1 win, he lucked out. Didn't Kyle Busch, I think Kyle Busch had some type of strategy, and so Ty Dillon easily passed him for the win. So he has 1 win, 1 on strategy. And it showed. Sponsors didn't follow him up. Let's look at Westco. They left. Yingling left. We have Bass Pro. They went to the 78. The other sponsors, they didn't have it with Ty Dillon. They didn't move up with him. And now, and his Xfinity program now is struggling. Like, his main sponsor is Bass Pro, and then they have another sponsor, and they haven't even helped with Cup yet. So the thing is, though, the reason why he's in the 13 is because Geico, that's already a fully funded car. You could easily just kick out Casey Mears. RCR has enough money to say, hey, we're going to give you, we make this the 4th RCR car, kick out Casey Mears and do Ty Dillon, you will get more financial benefits. And they immediately took it. So Ty Dillon, I doubt, is going anywhere, and he's not going anywhere for the near future. He deserves the 13 car. I'll admit, he's not doing as bad as I thought, but he can't win. That's just the bottom line. He is just there. So who is going to drive this RCR car? And I think it's going to come down to sponsorship, whoever brings the money. And I'm going to say some of the choices that might happen. I'm going to say a choice that I want to happen. And so the choices that I think are probably the most likely candidates, Daniel Hemrick, he has sponsorship. I think he has the thing on Johnny Sar's got a green sponsor, and then he has a blue sponsor. If they decide to step up, maybe split the races, then Daniel Hemrick could go to the Cup Series. Daniel Hemrick, he is a very underrated driver. When you have William Byron winning all these races, and you have Cole Custer and all that, he's been very underrated this year. And I think he is worthy of a Cup ride eventually, but way better than Ty Dillon, honestly. So you never know. He could move up to that car. We'll have to see. And then we have who else is in there? We have Brandon Jones. I hope Brandon Jones doesn't get a Cup ride. He's the next Brian Scott. The first year he doesn't do terrible. The second year, my gosh, he wrecks every week. He is he's getting beat. You would think that they would be doing good. He's getting beat by all these teams J.J. Yaley's ahead of him in points. Dakota Armstrong, Michael Annett. He's with Junior Motorsports, but that's not very good either. With Brendan Gaughan, I've seen it's just been bad luck. Here and there, he's just gotten in the wall or some incidents. But with Brandon Jones, he wrecks every week. There was one time he crashed before the race even started. This kid, I kind of hope he's going to be the next Brian Scott. I hope they don't choose him. And then you got Brendan Gaughan. No way. Sure, South Point. They have the money, but I don't see it. He'll probably stay in the Xfinity series, and RCR, Brendan Gaughan's window is closed. He probably wouldn't be that good. It wouldn't be at a competitive level. And, there's always people in my teams that could somehow get Bubba Wallace. They could somehow get another big free agent available. They could get a guy from David Reagan or Landon Castle or Matt DiBenedetto. They could somehow pick one of them. But they don't have sponsorship, so I highly doubt it. And then we have possibly, and here's the candidates that could possibly end up in this car. So first off, I'm filming this on August 1st. There's the whole fiasco, but possibly, if all goes weirdly, it may be Kurt Busch. Monster Energy, remember, they're still the sponsor of the 41, but if somehow Stuart Haas, they somehow can't reach a deal, they somehow cannot get a deal with Monster Energy, they could possibly leave in Kurt Busch and possibly go to RCR. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could. You never know. I personally hope Kurt Busch stays in the 41. The whole thing, I don't even know. We had a bunch of people. I think Lee Spencer, I think she knew that the contract was going to expire, like their contract going to expire, and she just makes up this fake news story that Kurt Busch is automatically out, when probably what's happening is they're renegotiating Kurt Busch's contract, because remember, Monster Energy signed the contract before they became the series sponsor. I mean, they could be trying to renegotiate and get a better deal, maybe more races on the car, maybe they get more money out of it, because Monster Energy got a bargain out of sponsoring the Cup Series. I mean, it was only a couple $1 million. I mean, they could be willing to extend on Kurt Busch's car. So I think he's good. I'm giving an 80% chance he stays at Stewart-Haas Racing. The other 20%, it'd be a 10%, or no, 15% would be at RCR. The other 5% would be he would leave. So Kurt Busch could be a possibility. And here's the one that I think should happen. How about Matt Kenseth? I mean, I doubt he's going to get another good ride. He should have gotten the 21 car. I mean, that would have been a proper send-off, but we got a big Paul Menard. And why not Matt Kenseth? I mean, the problem is he doesn't have sponsorship unless he can bring Tide and Circle K with him. But I don't see it. That's the problem. I think Circle K is staying with the 20 team. Tide might be one of the sponsors that's on the edge. They might follow Matt Kenseth. DeWalt's staying with Eric Jones. I mean, that's kind of sad, but is what it is. And so I'd like to see Matt Kenseth in that car, but I still feel like, even with that, I still feel like retirement's the most likely option for Matt Kenseth. I'm sorry, but I doubt he finds sponsorship. I mean, hopefully they can, but I don't know. So personally, the only other option is to shut down the car, and I feel like they might do this. This might be the most likely option, because if you look at it, if they can't find sponsorship, they've done this before where they could lease their charter to another team. I mean, we have the 12 team now that's new. We have a couple other teams that could possibly, we have the TriStar team right now. I think we had the TriStar Racing team. Their front row they could expand to 3 cars, and TriStar could still decide to race, and they could lease the charter from RCR. We have this scenario where I think, like JTG Doherty Racing, I think they get their charter back from Roush. Roush Fenway could resell it to another team, or they could bring up Ryan Reed, and then the 37 team could use that charter. So there's plenty of options how you can get rid of the charter for the third RCR team. And so I think that's my prediction, is they're going to scale back to 2 cars. They're going to be like the Roush Fenway Racing of Chevrolet, I think. I mean, when you have, I know Chip Ganassi's like Team Penske, and RCR is like Roush Fenway. I think they're going to have Ty Dillon's on lease from another team, like with Chris Buescher's leased from Roush Fenway Racing. And that's what's going to happen, I think, is they're going to focus on Ryan Newman and Austin Dillon, try to get more speed, and then whenever the cars are good, they'll just bring the car back up. Because that happened, because they had in 2010 they had 3 cars, and then in 2011 they went back to 4. So that's my prediction on what's going to happen, and said about that. So overall, Paul Menard to the 21, I'm 50-50. Not awful, but I don't think it's going to be that good. So that's the end of the video, guys. So if you like this video, give it a like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, subscribe for more videos. This is NASCAR Racing Fan 2015 signing out.